Good evening, everybody. It's such a wonderful opportunity to come your way. Once again, I hope we've all had a wonderful bank holiday. We've all enjoyed our Queen's Platinum Jubilee, and we just wish her well, and we just wish her a long life as well. On the Inside View tonight, we are so privileged to have an amazing woman who has motivated a lot of families all over the world. And tonight I'm so privileged to have her on the Inside View, who is going to share her story. And in so doing, she's going to educate and also empower families who have, autism. Autism is hidden in our community. It's something that we don't want to talk about. There's a lot of stigma. There's a lot of misconceptions about autism. So tonight, the importance or the essence of this interview is to remove all these misconceptions and also the stigma associated or attached to autism, just to enlighten us and also just to help families who have children with autism. So if you're online tonight, I want you to invite many people. Share this video. Let this video go far. Let this video go far. Tonight we have Mary Nana Yaa Kuffour, with us. And, our mommy all the way from Ghana. Yes, she's here with us. And, as usual, our mommy is a specialist, special needs teacher. She's also a board member of Ghana Federation for Disability organization. And she's also an early interventionist and coordinator at Awawa too. Mommy Akwaba. Auntie Mary Akwaba.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just a little correction there. So okay. I don't work at Awawa too anymore.
Okay, that's fine.
And yes, I am the founder of Klix Africa Foundation, a support center for persons with autism.
Autism. Okay, that's fine. Thank you so much for the correction. Yeah, thank you. We are so privileged to have you. Auntie Mary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. How are you doing?
By the grace of God, I am doing fine. By God's grace, I'm very well.
Good, good. We've seen you, written a book, When Life Takes a Sudden Turn. And we want you to share your journey, with autism. What is autism?
Thank you very much.
Why is it called spectrum disorder? Why is autism called, that spectrum disorder? Because, like many of us, we know what autism is. Yeah, so.
Okay, so usually I try not to answer the medical questions.
Yes.
But in a layman's view, autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder that affects children before the age of 3. So usually for a person to be on the autism spectrum, you begin to see the signs just before the child turns 3 years. And it's a neurodevelopmental disorder. In other words, something goes wrong in the child's brain. So that's, in a layman's view. Now, autism also affects different areas, of this child's life. Number 1 is their communication, 2, their social interaction, and then 3, the ability to understand the world around them. And I think another area that is being identified now is children with autism. About 80 to 90% are also having what we call sensory issues. So we know what our senses are: sense of touch, smell, feel, and all that. So this child is either hypersensitive to sound or, hypersensitive to sound. So yeah, if we go to church, for instance, immediately we go in, she would block her ears. In other words, the input of sound coming in is so much for her. So she needs to block her ear until a time when she feels okay or accommodating to the sound around her. So a lot of these children are also, having what we call sensory issues. And so if you're a parent and you are listening to us, you may find that your child may be, a picky eater. So they don't want certain textures of food, certain smell, certain colors. They don't want to sit on the potty. They don't want to wear shoes. They want to walk naked. They want to walk barefoot. These are sensory issues. And once you understand that, you'll be able to support the child. You said something. Why is it, a spectrum? Spectrum, let's take a spectrum to be a wide, or a line. Every child and where they are on this line. Now, the closer you are to zero, we say that you are mild. Now, the farther you are from zero, we say that, you are either moderate or severe. For me, autism is autism. A child may have difficulty socializing, but they may not have communication barriers. There is another child that may have communication barriers, but they may not have difficulty socializing, or they may not even have sensory issues. Understanding where your child is on this spectrum is so important, and it will also help you to make informed decision when it comes to supporting your child. So it's a spectrum. That's what makes it so difficult. And the reasons why most parents are in denial, because if you see one child with autism, you have just seen one child with autism. So you need to experience your child, pay detailed attention to this child. How are they communicating? Do they have do they have sensory issues? Do they have any learning challenges? These are very important information for you as a parent, because for every child that makes the most progress is an active parent. The therapist will come and go. You remain constant in the life of your child.
Wow. And Mary, now we just have to, delve into your story now. What were some of the signs that you noticed in Nana Yaa that prompted you to have her screened? This can help new mothers look for such signs. Yeah.
Thank you. So it's interesting. Yeah, started talking before she turned 3. Now I have 2 boys already. Yeah, it's my last born. My 2 boys, regular going children. There were no issues at all. At 1 year, yeah, walked all right. 1.5, she started saying, Mama. She said, Dada. And I remember very well a phrase that she used to say in our language, in our Kanintri. So she would say, Menmusio. Menmusio means I want water. So in other words, she was even using, phrases sometimes before she turned 2. Now, just before the 3rd year, we noticed that she would flap her arms consistently. Then she would run in circles a lot of the time. She wanted to play by herself. When we call her, she hears, but she will not respond. And, so these 3, 4 signs was there, but nothing happened. Nothing really occurred to me that she may have any medical condition. I think the one thing that really caught up with me was the few words that she had. She started, she stopped saying them. So she stopped saying mama, she stopped saying dada. And, if you read the literature, that kind of autism is called the retrogressive autism. Yeah. There are some who don't talk. Yeah, but mine started talking. And then before she turned 3, everything went away. So some of the signs I saw in her, even though at the time I didn't know it was autism. The flapping, not responding to a name, running in circles, wanting to play by herself. And then she made this, this sound. She would, she would say, oh, continuously. She would make this sound unending. And then along the line, we also noticed that she was having constipation. She was, so she could go days without using the potty. And then finally, she was also not sleeping at night. So there were days that she would go, throughout the night, there was no sleep. That was, taking a toll on me, because as a teacher, I needed to get up in the morning and go to work. And if you have a child who throughout the week is not sleeping, that was taking a huge toll on me, So these were the early signs that I saw. But sincerely speaking, autism was not in the picture. I wasn't even thinking along that line. When I noticed that the words she had, she had stopped saying any words, I got worried. At that time, I thought, hey, obedience are coming back, maybe something spiritual. So it never occurred to me that it was anything medical. And this is one of the reasons why I have come so public about my story. For me, if somebody can learn something so they don't have to reinvent the wheel, that alone is enough for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. So how did you manage parenting your two other children while providing additional support for the minor?
Initially, it was difficult, like I said. So 3 years, I was not talking. 4 years, she wasn't. 5 years, I got concerned, because at 5, it means that, formal education starts at 6 years, class 1. And if you're at 5 years, you are not potty trained, you are not talking, you have very poor attention, you don't sit at one place, you don't even know how to play with regular kids. These were things that got me really worried. Now, just before, I think around 6 years, I went to a Catholic school, and so we had Peace Corps volunteers who were teaching us. One of them became a very good friend of mine. So she came back to visit in Ghana. She was the first person to point, and this was 6 years, So she said, Mary, she came to visit, and then just maybe 10, 15 minutes, watching Nana Yaa and observing. She said, Mary, is your daughter always like this? I said, yes. Then she said, have you ever heard about autism? I said, no. She said, the signs and everything I see is pointing towards autism. And I said, what is that? So she took me to a cafe. This was about 14, 15 years ago. She took me to a cafe. She Googled the word autism, and there were tons of information. She printed those information, gave it to me to read. And the more I read about the signs and the symptoms, was doing some of them. There were also a lot that she was not. So still, we're still in denial. And so we said, no, now she's almost 6. She's not talking, not potty trained. She has very poor attention. It was difficult. So that was when we took it upon ourselves to see a speech therapist. In Ghana, we don't have the luxury of seeing all these pool of professionals.
Yeah.
So at the time we saw a speech pathologist. So he was the first person to diagnose Nana Yaa, officially as being on the autism spectrum with learning disability. That was a difficult one. I remember the question I asked him when I was leaving the clinic. I said, is there any medication to give her? And then he said, no. That was like, it was a shock to me. And I cried that day. My husband said nothing on the way back home. He was just very, quiet. And for me, it was like the diagnosis was given to us to find the meaning. And I know things are changing. And so now there's a lot of information out there. But before, it was difficult. It was really difficult. And for my sons, when she was diagnosed, I guess I didn't even know what to expect. For me, I was just looking forward to see my child talk. And the trick here, Yaa could sing. Yaa would sing the songs she was hearing. So for me, if my child could sing, definitely she'll talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we know that the literature again says that part of the brain that responds to music most of the time is not affected. And so yeah, was singing, and for me, that was a consolation, like, oh, she could say the words in the songs, she could, sing this rhyme and all that, so she's going to talk. But no, it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't, if the child doesn't get. So we lost on what we call the early intervention stage. And this is so important. If you are a parent listening to me today, please, if the signs are there, forget about the diagnosis, but don't sit at one place. Do something. How did I manage here with my two sons? It was very difficult. So I remember within a period of 1 year, we had changed, I think, about 4 to 5 nannies who would come in and support. Yes. So it was becoming very difficult. Why? I think when they come, Yaa was not sleeping at night. She would poo anywhere she wanted, especially in our bedroom. So she would poo on our bed. And this was a child who was having constipation. So anytime she decides to poo, you just have to allow her. And she would not poo anywhere but my bedroom and my kitchen. This was so embarrassing. I am sure it was quite a shock to some of these nannies. And personally, I didn't even know the information or anything about autism to give them. So they come and go, and it was becoming really difficult. So my husband is a teacher, I am a teacher. So he said, okay, why don't you stop teaching and take care of her whilst I teach and support? Trust me, I know he did his best, but it was the most difficult part of my life. And if you're a parent listening to me, if you're going through the same thing, I want you to open up to genuine people that could listen. Stopping work may not be the best decision, because sometimes it's like you are stuck with your child. And, it becomes a bit boring at times, worrying too. And then there's this intense fear within you. What is the future of this child? For us, I think one of the things that really helped was we had an open conversations with my son. I remember initially, I think between when Yaa was 6 to about 10, we were not going to church because there was no way Yaa would go and sit. And for me to go to church and, not to sit down and walk and pace up and down, everybody is looking at you. I mean, people are asking you questions. You don't even have the answer. You understand? This was really difficult for me. So I stopped going to church. I'll tell you the truth. I stopped going to church. At a point, my husband also stopped. And I remember we formed our own church. So we stayed at Achimota School. So we'll go to the forest. My husband will preach. And then, so the congregation was me, Nana Yaa, and my 2 other sons. And then we'll sing and, just like we've gone to church. We did this for some years until I was able to get training. And I started working with Yaa and working on attention and listening skills, working on requesting, working on potty training, working on eye contact, setting basic little targets after my training. So I started working with her, and then we saw changes, especially when the acceptance came in. And it's so important, accepting your child, because that is also the basis for how people will treat your child. The way you accept this child is so important. And for me too, if you are still in denial, it is difficult to even accept suggestions of things that you could, do with your child. I have learned so much on this journey. It is still difficult, I must admit, and I'll share some of the difficulties with you. But I think not being the superhero and taking everything upon yourself, but opening up, especially to genuine people that will listen to you. Trust me, if you have a child like Nana Yaa, God will bring people your way that will understand you. You'd be amazed, especially that moment where you pray about it. Ask God for a spirit of discernment so you could open up to the people that really care, and they will be your support system.
Wow. Well, Auntie Mary, so, I mean, how do you handle being such a strong advocate for Nana Yaa and other families in a society where we see disability, as a form of a curse, and also where we see any form of biological deviation as not acceptable. How do you handle, such a huge responsibility? Because I know you are an advocate for, so many disability. Not necessarily autism, but then all the disability federation. How do you handle that task, being an advocate?
Thank you so much. I think it all begins with you, okay? Your mindset is extremely important.
Yeah.
Your own attitude is so important. And trust me, coming to terms with the diagnosis, it's a process, okay? It's not an event, it's a process. It will take you a little while to get there, but if you open up, you'll get there. So the first thing is about your own attitude, how you see this child. Do you see this child as a blessing in disguise?
Mm.
Do you see this child, just like any regular child that you have, but with other challenges? Okay, it is so important how you view and see this child, because that would also change a little or a lot about your own attitude towards the challenge, or your child and what you're going through with your child. I must tell you, it is not easy. I have gone to practically having to ask for loans from people on a daily basis because it was so difficult. I told you I stayed at home for some time before I started work again. It was difficult. It was difficult having to rely on a salary of about $300 a month as a whole family of three. So, it was really difficult. So I know what I'm telling you. I have gone from selling secondhand clothes, particularly bed sheets, to selling fried rice, to selling groundnut paste, what have you, just so I could survive it. It was very difficult, but like I said, it's all to do with your own attitude. It's so important, your own mindset. You need to begin to unlearn certain things that the society sees as the normal, as the best way of doing things. This is so important. And you can only get there sometimes when you open up and talk about your fears. What are those fears? Even now, as I talk about, with all the progress that we've made, I still have that. Sometimes it's like a flash of light through my mind. What if you die? What if you die? What happens to this child? Let me just quickly, divert a little and tell you. For the past 1 month, we're going through a lot of anxieties with her, even I've just locked my door. I hope she'll not come in. She'll come and want to check my brassiere and want to see what I'm wearing. Certain things that don't make any sense. Okay. I will stand in front of my mirror and I tell myself, Mary, keep calm. Mary, keep calm. This is it's definitely not going to be the end of it. So I keep on assuring myself. In fact, sometimes I just have to force my mind to accept it. It is so, so, so important. And she's turning 20, so we are at that phase between adolescent, just practically being an adult, that teen age. And she's becoming also very sexual. It's very scary. I have seen her masturbating, and even what language do I try to teach her that, young teens, regular in quotes, masturbate, but just that as a parent, you don't get to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
They are able to manage these things, so you don't get to see. But for a child on the spectrum, sometimes they don't understand even privacy. And she's doing this openly. And in this, right now, in this world where people are so evil, that fear of not even being able to entrust in anybody's hands. That fear has been there for the past 1 month, and I've been praying to God to give me the grace to handle it. So coming back to your question, how did I survive? So it started with me working on myself. accepting that, yes, something needs to be done for this child. One of the questions I kept asking myself, if I say that it is difficult for me, how much more, who is even struggling to let me know what she's going through, even if she's sick and all that. One of the things I've always been praying to God about is hospital, and visits. I'll do whatever is possible so that I pray to God she's healthy and I don't have to go to hospital. Because sometimes I go and it's like a guesswork. Okay, so your own attitude is so important. Now, the attitude of being accepting and being okay and all that also comes if you truly have, a balanced mental attitude. It's so important. If you're going through all the emotions, the fear, the denial, the why me God, which I said is okay, but it is just that you don't have to live there for long. It is so important. Once you begin to work at yourself, your beliefs about your child, your own mental health, everything about you is so important. And then you begin to find that peace within yourself. For me, like even at church, I remember one time when somebody walked to me and said, Madam, are you the woman with a sick child? And I just told myself, maybe for lack of better words, use. And I practice what we call advanced forgiveness. Sometimes you expect the support even within your own circle. That is where you'll be hit the most. Trust me. You have no idea. I wake up every day and I find over 80 messages sent to me to join this pastor or that pastor to pray. People practically write the prayer topics that I should be praying about. You understand? Sometimes making you like maybe you don't know what you are about. People come, but in all this, I just tell myself, they haven't been in my shoes. They have no idea. This very morning, I posted a video of yesterday. I don't know whether it was excitement or what. I promised her that I was going to take her to church today. She got up, well dressed, wanting to go. And then something happened, so we had to cancel. And then she started throwing tantrums, wanting to beat me. I held her and I said, yeah, this is what life is all about. Sometimes what we so desire, we don't get it. It's all a learning process. She was throwing tantrums. I just kept very calm. I didn't feed the tantrum. And then I think she saw that she's done enough. She just walked to me, just gave me a hug and a peck. And then she looked at me and said, are you okay?
Oh, so adorable.
And I also asked her, are you also okay? Okay, so you see, it is so important. I could have been worried about what she was doing at the time with all the tantrums. It feeds the negative energy and it wasn't going to help. So I think that I've been able to stand through it all. Things will work for my good. Everything that I'm going through will work for my good. And I hope we have enough time where I will share some of the intimate details of this journey. Sometimes you're not able to put everything on Facebook, but trust me, what you see there as the nicest is just 20% of the work. 80% you have not seen. The financial commitment that goes with it, having to make sure that I feed her right, having to do research on Ghanaian food, and it's so much. What are the Ghanaian foods that gives us probiotics? I have to learn all this. I take time off on Saturdays to go to the market, spend time with the market women, learning about our food.
Wow.
What would make a parent do this? Except the desire to see your child live a better life.
That's
Okay,
Mary. You are
so I
such a
think
hero. You are a hero to, to all of us, because we watch you on a daily basis. You are so proud to talk about your daughter. You are so proud to share all the stages that Yaa, has gone through. And I think the one that really caught my attention the puberty one, because I think you were, teaching parents, the different types of sanitary pads that they can buy, and also where to buy them. We
Yeah.
have a lot of people online at the moment, which maybe I suppose maybe they have some. I mean, not all of them. Maybe with kids with autism, that have no clue as to what to do when their children get to that stage. I want you to, just educate us on that, that puberty stage. But before that, when Yaa was actually growing up, what was your biggest fear? And if you had any, I mean, which obviously I know you had, have you been able to overcome, that fear that you had when she was a child? Yeah, please, yeah.
Okay, so my biggest fear has been, if I die today,
Okay.
who takes care of Yaa? And I haven't been able to overcome that fear. No matter how much, I encourage myself, I think that has been the greatest fear. But I've also noticed that sometimes, even in our difficult moments, and I'm speaking from a Christian point of view,
Mm-hmm.
if we totally could trust God, that absolute trust, which is so difficult, you understand? Yeah. It is so difficult. Yes, but anytime I get to that point and I pray about it, there's that peace within me that I can only worry about today. Look, one day I'm going to open up about my health journey. And trust me, the day I open up about this, people are going to be shocked. Yes. Like I said, everybody sees the strong Mary and all that. But people completely have no idea my health journey. I have not opened up on that. And one of these days, I pray for the grace of God for me to open up. People are going to be shocked. And you would notice that even as we go through life challenges, having a positive mental outlook is as important as taking any medication. I have practically gone through it all with doctors, where sometimes they said, okay, this we don't even know. I mean, did anybody notice for the past about 2-3 months, I lost my voice?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anybody.
Yeah.
I think it's been there for almost, I would open up to you about this later. But what I'm trying to say is that people are going through a lot that you have no idea of. And in this time and era where negativity seems to be the topic of the day, you can only choose to be kind. You can only choose to be kind. Even in situations where you feel that people have really offended you, or they've done this or that, you can only, because you have so much control, about what you do. So today, to tell you, I was going to send you a message and say, if it's not, too much of a disappointment, can we cancel?
Oh. I wouldn't have been able to encourage you, because I understand. Yeah.
Yes, it was so difficult. You know what this is?
No, we can see.
Do you see it?
No, what is that? Sorry. Oh.
So this is what you put in medications.
Yeah.
Okay, this is for me.
Wow.
This, what I just show you, it's just one. This is a week supply. This is morning and this is evening. It takes the grace of God. So even as I take care of Yaa, on my own, I'm also having my own challenges. But I think that the positive mental attitude every single day as I get up from bed, the heart of gratitude, the idea of being able to do just one good deed, just one, don't even talk about two, just one, for another human being, it brings a certain kind of peace and joy and memory within you that carries you for the next day. If you are here and you are listening to me, practice this and see. Every single day, find 3 or 4 things that you're so grateful for, regardless of all the challenges. You may go through a heart problem, you may go through allergies, whatever. And maybe on another topic, I'll talk to you about allergies and our children and how this can also affect our everyday quality of life. I have gone through it all, Nana. I have gone through it all. Just that I choose to put the spotlight on here, you know. But behind the scenes, I fight my own evils. Trust me. And so I just want to encourage somebody today. Having a child with special needs is not the end of life. People are going through a lot that you have no idea of. Unfortunately, social media and the feeling of wanting everybody to see that all is well and right with you, I think it's sometimes misinformed. You say something that, oh, Auntie Mary, you're so strong. Sometimes I ask myself, God, am I giving people wrong information out there? Because I cry. I sit on the floor a lot of the time and I ask God, why? Why me? What did I do wrong? I remember when I was diagnosed, my mom was down with stroke, and I took care of my mom 15 good years. Bedridden, 15 good years. Yes. In addition to having an autistic daughter, every day I am checking. So if I take out this medication, what would give this? If I want to take care of melatonin, what should I do? I mean, every single day researching. If I you see at the back a lot of books and all that. And every day it's like you're using your money. If you're not buying book, you are buying coconut oil. If you're not buying coconut oil, you are buying organic food and looking for land to start planting. I mean, doing so much. And then you begin to ask yourself, one day if you live here, who takes care of this child? Who so much trusts you so much? You know, she lives her life like she has no disability. You know, and every day, even in our challenge, I sit her down. I pray with her, I hold her hand. So sometimes, you know, and sometimes she begins to tell me some of the things when we pray, you know, the words I use. She'll look at me and begin to say some of those words to me, okay? And every day, I tell her, yeah, I see the glory of God in you. We are going through a lot, but it is not the end of it all. And I tell her this. And sometimes in her own clear voice, she tells me, she plays the words back to me. And I ask myself, maybe God, you did not just give me this child. Probably this is my purpose on this earth. Probably you want me to experience it so I could be in a better position to also talk to people, not just by reading, but experiencing it and talking from my own journey. Last Friday, and I think I've given this example before. So there was this parent at my center who usually come in the morning, and then she will bring me the child's food warmer. You open and there's no food in. Then the next day she brings this child, one shoe is on, another shoe is not. So it's like every day there's something else she has forgotten. So in my heart I said, hello. So I in my heart I branded this parent as, you know, I mean, she's too fussy. She's not. Yeah. Are we on?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I can hear you. Aunt Maria, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Aunt Mary, yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So this parent, in my heart of heart, like, you know, she's not taking very good care of the child. So I gathered the courage one day, and may God forgive me, because in my heart I've already branded this parent. So I took the courage and I put the anger I felt towards her because of the way, you know, every day I mean, are you the only one with a special needs child. Then I said, please, can I have a conversation with you? They said, fine. So we sat and said, every day you are forgetting something. Me self, I mean, I forget all right, but yours there is too much. So what exactly is the problem? Then he said, I'm going through cancer. Every time that I come here, that I'm late, it is because I've gone there for my, how do they call it? You know that they have a name for it, but she says it's a form of injection, you know, like intravenous that they give her. So she goes very early in the morning. She gets that before she brings the child. And anytime she's late, you see that she went in the afternoon. And I asked her, for how long have you? Yes. And I asked her, Nana Yaa. And I asked her for how long. He says it's been for the past 5 years since I had my child. That was when, yeah, can I get tissue paper? Then I'm just remember what happened. And then he says, I have had it for the past 4 years. So I'm going through the treatment of cancer. And I'm also going through having to bring my child here and picking that. So because of that, I have put my work on hold. And this is a very learned woman. And I've always seen her very slim. So in my, I say, hey, as for you, there's like you are not eating. You are very slim. You want to maintain. You see, in my eyes, she was slimming down because she wanted to maintain a sexy. Are you getting what I'm trying to? So you see, there are a lot of times that we brand people, we say things that we have no idea of. Now, my question is, would I have been sympathetic towards her if she had not opened up to me?
No.
I was going to still treat her with that hostility because I felt she wasn't maybe a good mother enough. But immediately she opened up to me, it completely changed my own perception. And when I came home, God spoke to me through a conversation with this woman. That a lot of the times as human beings, we charge people without even knowing what they go through.
Yeah.
So were you going to continue to treat her with hostility if she had not opened up? How many people do you know go through similar things, but because they haven't had the courage to open up, are people going to treat them the same way? What I'm trying to say, people are going through a lot. People are going through a lot. And the fact that the person can even get up every day, take a bath, eat something, and still stand up and say, I am going to go through it regardless. That alone, she or he is a survivor.
Yeah.
And so this really spoke to me and said, regardless of how bad your day is, be careful what comes out of your mouth, because it can either break somebody down completely. I have really, since that incident, respected this woman so much. I am complaining every day, yeah, hasn't done this. We went through something and then the next moment she's forgotten everything. I can't imagine cancer and autism. No way. But in her own words, you know what she told me? She says, Auntie Mary, I don't think God is wicked. She's so positive. She is so positive. So all that I'm trying to tell you today, chemotherapy, thank you, Ayo. All that I'm trying to tell you today is autism diagnosis is not the end of life. Your child having the challenges is going through. Gratitude each day, taking it in a day at a time, opening up and accepting that you cannot do it or you need help are part of your survival strategy, and it will help you.
Wow. Auntie Mary, I mean, we could go on and on, but
Hello?
do you know what? Yes, hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me, Auntie Mary?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes, good.
Yes.
This especially in a society where we just judge people anyhow. We don't even know half of their story or nothing. I'm so glad, you've explained thoroughly how, I wouldn't say well, but how society has dealt with you, not knowing maybe half of your story. But, I don't know, I'm so emotional and so subdued by, by what you said, especially, with your own health challenges. Is way too much. Is way too much. Now let's talk about Klix Africa Foundation. What motivated you to set? Auntie, can you hear me now?
Okay, I needed to change my, yes, I needed to change my, okay. My internet was breaking, so
Okay.
I changed.
Okay.
I changed my position. Yes, your question again.
That's fine. That's fine. I've sent you the link, so if you want to share it on your page so that people can join.
I have already.
Okay, that's fine.
I have already.
That's fine. With your training center, I mean, where other parents come to receive training and information, that's Klix Africa Foundation. We do commend you for setting up such an amazing foundation. But then what motivated you to set up that foundation?
This girl, come.
Hello.
So, yes, it was set up because of, my experience with my daughter.
Yeah.
I felt that we needed to do something. And so if you're a parent also listening to me, I want to really encourage, parents setting up. It would really help. So Klix Africa Foundation started as my own experience with Nana Yaa. That was our own, our motivation factor.
Okay.
And at the moment, we have over 80 children at the center.
Wow.
We are supporting. Yes, we just started one in the Eastern region, and which has been a month now. And hopefully, before the year ends, we are also starting a respite care in Eastern region, a breed to be precise.
Oh, wow. Wow. Before you go on, we have the Klix Africa Foundation. Some information actually rolling now. If you want to be of a great support to Klix Africa Foundation, Auntie Mary will be so, so grateful. Like we all know that she can't shoulder this responsibility all by herself. So in whatever way that we can support her, the number is on the screen. Please take note of that number and let's all support Klix Africa Foundation. So I'm just going to support Nana Yaa, but then the parents with living with autistic children, please let's all support this wonderful initiative. Let us all support Klix Africa Foundation. I'll link to the contact number is 0244 4898. Sorry, let me wear my glasses to get the number right. It's sorry, I can't find my glasses, but
It's 0244
okay.
988 977.
Okay. 0244. Auntie Mary, please, if you can repeat it, I'll be so happy. 0244
988, yes. 977.
Okay. So 0244 988 977. 0244 988 977. We can all testify to what Auntie Mary is doing to help a lot of families in Ghana, and not just in Ghana alone, I would say in Africa. So if you have any support,
water.
Yes, every little helps. Every little helps. Let us all support Klix Africa Foundation. And I'll say the number again, 0244 988 977. 0244 988 977. Thank you. Yeah. Auntie Mary, if you can actually share some light. Oh, thank you, Nana. Thank you. Thank you. For the puberty side, we saw you educating, parents on the type of, sanitary parts. When Nana got to that stage, how was it like for you? I mean, how did you take that stage?
It was a shock. It was a shock to me because we saw it when she was 9 years.
9 years?
Oh, 9 years. All I saw was blood in her panties. At first, I thought it was an accident or something. Then later, I saw where it was coming from. And I was shocked because we were not prepared for it. Unfortunately, it also happened at a time when she was not potty trained. So we're dealing with her not being potty trained plus menstruation. And I remember those were also the time that I was not working, so I was at home supporting. I remember the first week, you put a sanitary pad there, then she'll take it out and throw it away. So everything in the house was stained with blood, but it took almost like a year before she could really accept. I think she had a lot of sensory issues, so the type of sanitary pad we're using contributed so much to her accept. When you put it there, and then she walks and it shifts a little bit, that was trouble. She wanted, even if you ask outside or not, she wants to take it out and throw away. So whenever she was in her menses, I had to stay home completely. Then later we found out the kind that she wanted, and so we found the pull-ups. The pull-ups, I think we've had about 4 different types, and finally we found one that was a exact size, and she lost that one. So since we've had that one, we haven't had any problems. But even still, we need to supervise, when it comes to changing, making sure everything is clean. And remember, it's also the period for white, I kind of say.
Kind of say, Odepo, and answer the trash.
Yeah, Odepo, but what's the English? I think that's candida.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
It's a period for candida and all that. So I needed to check very well what she's eating, cutting down sugar completely, making sure she's eating enough vegetables in her food. And it's been quite difficult. Yaa has a lot of allergies, a lot. It just rained this morning. She started sneezing like, sneezing so badly. Quickly, we have a certain medication from her doctor. We have consistently for the past 11 years, we have used a homeopath doctor in Canada that we consult every month on Zoom, for 11 years. So I have tons of homeopathic remedy from malaria, to sneezing, allergies, sleep. I have them all. Every month we go through the homeopathic remedies because, for instance, anytime she has any kind of infection and we take antibiotic, the mainstream antibiotic, we have a lot of issues after the treatment. Anytime she takes antibiotics, we have a lot of issues. She will not sleep through the week. We have meltdowns and a whole lot. So we advise to try as much as possible, even if we have to give any medication, something that is more of herbs, and that has really helped. So we do homeopathy, and we've done this for the past 11 years. Apart from that, we are very, very watchful of what we give her to eat, what she's going to eat for the week. This morning, I think I started at 9, I finished around 5 o'clock. So everything she has to eat for breakfast, for lunch, is being prepared already. I have researched a lot into Ghanaian foods. And if you are Ghanaian listening to me, we are so blessed here. Nana, most of our foods here are gluten-free.
Wow.
Yes. Most of our foods here are gluten-free. So if a parent has a child on the autism spectrum and you want to feed your child, most of our foods here are gluten-free. One of the best places I've gone to learn about food is the Malata market. It has a lot of Northerners there.
Yeah.
And the Northerners use a lot of herbs in their food.
Yeah.
So if you're in Ghana, you're in Accra, and you want to really learn about food, especially very healthy one, go to that market. And the women are so open. You see their leafy and all that. They will tell you how to prepare it, the benefits and all that. It was there that somebody taught me about the bark of neem tree, what it does. The bark, neem tree actually,
Yes.
it is so good for detox. And we go and take all these, medicine to detox. But the bark of the neem tree, I was taught from that market, the leaves of the neem tree. I know neem trees are everywhere, wherever you pass. Neem tree of Ghana. It has so much medicinal value. Even Nabano, the yellow ones that bears do eat. There's so much that it does, and we use it. Dandelion, it's everywhere in front of my house here. It's all year round. Chopping the dandelion and adding it in the eggs, adding the dandelion to the cocoyam leaves. I mean, there's so much here. So much that we can learn. So the puberty, I think one of the major challenges is controlling the hormones. It's so important. And maybe in our next session, we'll talk about foods that are so good for detox, foods that will help your child to become, foods that can also regulate their hormones, especially during this adolescent age. It's so difficult. The last time I taught parents about using the aloe vera, I have plenty of them, in my house for the pimples and everything. We have the alatasemina, the black soap. We have the lemon here. So many things that within our environment that we can use.
Wow, Aunt Mary. Wow. You've gone so far. You've gone so far. Parents living with children with autism complain about how autism has really affected their marriages, their sex life, their social life, and everything. And how has it been for you?
It hasn't been
of your
easy.
health, everything. Fine, you shared your
It hasn't
health.
been. Yeah. Yes, it hasn't been easy. And that's why I said you need support systems. And when I say you need support system, if you can find a parent support group, please join. It would help you. Parent support group. Finding parents who are on this journey, sharing, the challenges, it does motivate you to, stay calm through the journey. I think also watching your own mental health is very important. Immediately we are done with this, I'm going to change into my sports work and I'm going to go for a walk outside. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour walk. It will help you to sleep and forget about all my problems. Wow. It's so important, but it also regulates my own mood. Checking what you are eating is so important. Sleep is so important. I think sometimes you think that, as for me, I'm workaholic, so, I just do away, just 2 hours sleep. Please, 2 hours sleep is no good for you. Even if you don't feel like sleeping, just switch off your phone, every gadget around you, lie on that bed. Lie on that bed. Let your soul, your body, and your mind take a break. It is so important. And then positive affirmations is also very important. Trust me, autism affects your marriage, your finances, your social life, every part of your life. Imagine being extremely tired. And when a special needs parent says, I'm tired, it's not a physical tiredness, your mind.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And when you talk about sex and the rest, if you're truly tired, my sister, who that was a timber? Absolutely nothing you can do. And I know this is also happening with a lot of parents. We push our husbands away because I think mentally you are tired and the last thing you think about is sex, especially if you're a young parent. Hey, me going to have a second child probably is going to turn up to be autistic. So you have all these fears weighing you down. But if you have your husband around you and, ask God for a spirit of discernment, wisdom, so you balance the equation. It hasn't been easy managing regular children or other children, plus the one with special needs. I think it's very important to have what we call maybe once every month, sit down as a family, tell them about the therapy, when you saw the doctor, what they said, What are some of the things you're reading? Share that information with your other children. You'll be amazed that they can understand, and they will be your support system when you need them the most. It is very important to involve the whole family. Raising one child with autism, it takes a whole village to do that. You cannot do it alone. You need people, no matter how small, they support it. And please, when you ask for help, it is not a sign of weakness. I think it's a Ghanaian thing. We feel that once you ask somebody for help, as long as you're not taking advantage of them, know that it's okay, especially special needs parents. You need it. Please ask for help. Ask for someone to stay in, sometimes, look, there are times that I can be in this house and I'll lock myself up. Just so my child feels that I'm not in the house. You can take your bag and everything, pretend like you're going out. So the child sees you actually going out. Then somebody just take the child to the other side. Then you creep in quietly and look so that in the child's mind, you are not in the house. Because sometimes you have no break. They want to be over you. And even in situations when I lock, she sits, in front of the door waiting just to see whether you open so she comes in. Sometimes they can just take, and they suck energy a little bit too, so you get a bit tired. Please ask for help, ask for support.
Yeah. It's Mary, because of time constraints, but there's a lot that I wanted to ask, but because of time, we've seen
I'm sure we'll come back again.
Yes, because you've seen doing photo shoots, dancing, singing in front of cameras, is it a form of therapy for her, or is this something that you maybe find as a form of escape for her?
Your question again, please.
Sorry, I said we've seen having photo shoots, dancing, and singing to kids' music and stuff like that. Is this something that she really enjoys, or is this something that it's a form of therapy that as a family you want her to have, or is something that she herself really enjoys doing?
She really, really enjoys doing that. She enjoys it. You notice that whenever she sees somebody making her up, she loves to sit quietly and she enjoys it so much. But also I noticed this recently, that some of the products that they use for the makeup, she reacts to them. Ooh. Yes, so I remember after one photo shoot, we came back and I noticed her eyes were red. So I needed to look at even the, like I said, she has a lot of allergies.
Yeah.
So somebody told me I need to look for, makeups that are hypo something. She mentioned the word, so I need to look at something that will work for her. But she absolutely loves it. But I'm also thinking she's still beautiful without makeup.
Of course,
so she could still, exactly. So she can still do, she can wear all these African prints, and I'm so grateful to all the fashion designers that are working with her, Atwa Yeboah Fashion Clothing, Mislin Creations, Farida, and Chasha Wigs, and all those big brands. I'm so grateful. Yeah, it's grateful for them believing it, but she really, really loves it. And I think sometimes too is a form of therapy for her, engaging her, to do that. The last photo shoot that we had, they use, I think it's like a lining, under the, this lining that makes the gowns look so, big. And I think because of her sensory issues, she didn't like, so we had a lot, like about 3 gowns, but she refused to wear them.
Wow.
She refused to wear, said no, because those things. So even as I wanted to do these things, I need to also take the challenges that she has into consideration and make sure that, whatever she has to wear are things that she feels comfortable in. But she really loves to dress up.
Wow. Thank you so much, Aunt Mary. I know you are going to come back again, to talk about
I will.
sensory,
I surely will.
sensory issues and also the therapy piece that, and that parents can learn from you. But before you go, what are your final words, to society where we tend to stigmatize parents, with children living with autism? Yeah.
Thank you so much. So I would say that having a child with autism is not the end of the world. Okay. Having a child with autism is not the end of the world. That child needs your support. That child needs you. And like I said, if you say that is difficult for you, how much more your child who is struggling? Because the world knows little about what they go through. You become that child's advocate, and you need to reassure yourself that you are enough for this child. In any case, God does not make mistakes.
Yeah.
In any case, God does not make mistakes. So whatever it is, reassure yourself that it will work for your good. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Aunt Mary. Thank you so much for your time. And, viewers out there, Aunt Mary is going to come for part 2, and she's going to educate us on the foods that we can actually give to autistic, children, and also, the therapeutic aspect of it, and also many more, because, because of time, we couldn't talk about so many things. And she has promised to come back, so stay tuned for that. Auntie Mary, we thank you so much, and I would have loved to ask you, what is the best thing of being Ya's mother? But because of time, I'll just leave that one for maybe another time. Yeah, thank you so much. And if you are watching us, we do appreciate you for your company, for being with us till now. And as a society, let us try and be sensitive to other people's feelings. And Auntie Mary said something in her book, which I quote. She said, the disability I thought was in her was apparently my own. The disability I thought was in Yaa was apparently my own. On that note, if you're a parent with an autistic child, Auntie Mary wants you to know that the disability that you think is in your child is rather in your mind. That's a very, very powerful statement. Honestly, when I read that thing, it just hits me. And I'm thinking it takes a brave woman, to make such a statement. On that note, thank you. We've got a lot of comments. I don't think I'll be able to read it because Auntie Mary, actually gave me 1 hour, and I think I've gone overboard, and I don't want to take that for granted. So, Auntie Mary, thank you. I've got a lot of comments and also questions which I would have loved to read, but I need to respect your time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and have a blessed week, Auntie Mary. And we wish Nana Yaa well, and we still want to see her in front of cameras, and also want to see her grow beautifully. Yeah, so thank you so much, Auntie Mary. I can continue to thank you over and over again, but we do appreciate you. We do appreciate you. And UK wants you to come back again and teach us, especially the foods, and and many more. Okay, so thank you so much, Auntie Mary. Thank you. Thank you.